Okay, I hope you can see me. The sun's kind of in my eyes. It has been a while, so I decided to catch you up on what I've been up to. This is for the big knife, that's over there. There are several smaller projects that I'm working on, including a dagger that's coming along pretty nicely, but I'll add some of that onto Instagram, as I'm not making a YouTube series about that one just yet. Still a little practice needed there. So what I want to do today is I want to finish up, or get as close as possible to finished on the big knife. This project's been on my table for a while and I want to get it done. I want to get it out, I want to get it finished. A lot of what happened is I tried to do some hand engraving, chisel engraving on there, and that has failed miserably. Let's see if the camera will pick it up. As you can see, that has not gone well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the grinder, clean them up, and I'm just going to leave them blank. What I can do is, my father has a big laser engraving machine, so I will be putting our Brink Brother Blades symbols, our logos on here, and then as well on the blade to make it look nice and pretty. So let's get started. So now there they are back onto the knife, back on the knife, and I'm quite liking the dark color. So I think what I'm going to do is, after I've quenched and cleaned the blade, I'm going to etch it in acid to give it this dark, well, little blotchy here because I didn't clean the blade last time I put it in acid. But that'll all come off and I'll sand that down nice and shiny, and then I'll etch it to give it that dark look. I think it just contrasts very nicely with the bolsters. Again, the handle material will be this unnamed hardwood. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it is hard. It is horrible to work with. Clogs up my belts, just fights me every step of the way, but that's part of the process, is learning. So those will go on there like so. Obviously going to be shaped, you can't work with a block like that, but yeah, well. So what I've done is I've left the bolster on the one side, and I've, holding it nicely firmly in place, put the scale on where it's supposed to go, and now I'm just using this punch to give myself more or less a guide where I want to cut the wood, so that once I'm done I can copy the other side exactly, as everything is supposed to be nice and symmetrical. So, trusty battery drill. Now I'm gonna see if I can get that more or less straight on those two holes, and then we can flip it over and do it the same on the other side. A little bit of love. And ladies and gentlemen, we have the makings of a knife handle. These pins will see that it's actually pretty. So that's from the cutting marks, but it is actually quite nice looking wood. So that plus that and a darkened blade like this, I think that is going to look spectacular. Okay, here we go. Oh, there it goes. And I still have 10 fingers. Because the tang is thick, it'll retain the heat a lot longer, giving me a chance to heat up the tip and getting a good even temperature over the whole piece. Oh, if I don't drop it like an idiot. So let's get that in there. Some little room to work here. Okay, that tang is starting to heat up really nicely. So now you'll see that that is hot. So we'll turn it around, grab it by this end, and shove it straight back in. Okay, so I got it up to critical, and it's currently lying on a piece of fire brick just to cool down evenly in still air, because there's no wind blowing here, so this will cool down and it'll actually shrink the grain. So right there at this moment, I have got a sacrificial piece of steel that is heating up in the forge. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dunk that in the oil just to break the cold temperature of the oil a little bit so that the blade doesn't cool too rapidly and cause cracks. Then I'm going to start heating up the blade. We're going to get it nice and even. I'm going to use my magnet to test it, as I should every time, which I don't do because I'm sometimes too hasty and I don't have the patience. So once that's hot, I'll shove it in the oil. It'll make nice fireballs, and then we'll move on to the blade. Okay, the blade is in the forge. Let me just get this camera angle on the oil drum. So I'm going to get it up to critical, and then we're going to go for a quench, and hopefully it doesn't break. Fairly straight. Aha! Fantastic. Important thing is I didn't feel a ping in the handle of the pliers or the tongs, which means no cracks. Let's just get this nice and cooled off. Okay, so we've got this, thin down the scales a bit. Just going to do a rough profiling and get these corners on the handle and the blade of the tang to fit each other a little better. So I've done the rough profiling. As you can see, I've started to get an idea more or less where I want to go with this handle. Still a little hot from the grinding. Everything still lines up pretty well. Slight bend in the blade, just ever so slight from the quench, but I don't think that'll be too much of a problem. This, on the other hand, is starting to look pretty badass, if I don't say so myself. Needs to get tempered. All of these surfaces need to get final polished after that, and then I glue it up, pin over the pins a little bit, make it nice and strong, make sure they adhere quite quite well. There's a little bit of a warp in the handle as well, but I can fix with grinding. So that is where we are up till today. And I haven't posted a video as often as I'd like, but being full-time employed kind of eats into your hobby time, as this is just a hobby. So that's where we are right now. Gonna jump down the camera so I can see what I'm doing, and I'm gonna give you there's a bit of an ugly shadow in there. There we go. A close-up look of more or less where we're going with this. So, does not feel too bad in the hand, although that's still very blocky. That needs to be rounded over. But I think once this is finished, it's going to be a beast. Let me see if I... So, I'd like to take a moment just to thank everyone who's subscribed and liking my content on the channel. I really appreciate it. It really does help the channel a lot, although it doesn't seem that way. I know I don't have a lot of subscribers at the moment, and my content's still a little dodgy, but I'm still learning. If you have any comments, any questions, any advice, anyone you'd like me to talk to, or to... If you have any comments, please leave a comment. If you have any questions, the comment section is there.